Welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. What's up? Salutations. How are you doing? So happy to have you. This is Josh here checking in on you out there in YouTube land. Happy hump day. Okay, I'm just going to get that out of the way. Puns intended. Tonight what we're fixing to get into is a very humpy movie. This is a very perverse, a very disgusting, everything that you want to say. What we want to say tonight about 2016's We Are the Flesh is that I'm going to try to be extremely careful trying to describe this movie. Luckily for me and luckily for you out there, the viewer, there's kind of a loose narrative structure to this film. There's not a lot of continuity, like everything doesn't make sense. Is this just some sort of acidic fever dream, some hallucination, some hallucinogenic stage, some sort of moldy bread that's gone bad that you just happen to take a swig of and a bite of? I don't know, but I can tell you right now that I'm going to be careful. I don't want to get myself in trouble, so we're going to try to explain this movie the best that I can. Thanks for being here, however you found me, so appreciative. Let's check. 2016's feature film debut from Emiliano Rocha Minter reminds us that there are directors out there that are big fans of pissing in the mainstream. We Are the Flesh comes with plenty of buzz and word of mouth as a modern-day Mexican SALO. I remember exactly where I was when I read the first reviews from Bloody Disgusting warning people of this sleaze fest. I'll have to admit, I was super excited. Pure euphoric sleaze and haunting camera work slowly brings us into a primitive bunker. We are then introduced to Mariano, who is tweaking and glitching around a barren apartment, making gasoline and liquored up tinctures out of moldy bread and beating the fuck out of a snare drum. The camera twists and turns and snakes through his inebriated manifestos. Hunkered down in these wastelands as unassuming scavenging teens, Skeletor and his sister, who are fed concoctions and tinctures that are only going to cause reckless curiosity and perverse damnation. Offered shelter and snacks in exchange to build this cavernous womb, Mariano is an enraged apex predator, an animal uncaged. He leers and chews up screen time through uncomfortable staring contests and conjures up the nasty for most of the Fright Flick's runtime. A man possessed and entranced by either the possibility of playing the devil's advocate or something worse, exposing these wayfaring strangers to things unimaginable and not safe for you two. He rocks back and forth on his haunches, conjuring up spells of narcissistic ecstasy and keeps his subjects at work for his sick and twisted carnal pleasures. To the sister, Mariano weaves his spell.
When you embrace solitude, your head spins like crazy, and with every turn you take more and more space in the void until your skull unfolds and blossoms like a flower. In that thick darkness there is no light. Your eyes can't see, your mind's eyes can't unfold. People shy away from certain thoughts. Their lives are a continuous distraction from their own perversion. Solitude forces you to come face to face with your darkest fantasies, and when nothing happens, you can embrace your grotesque thoughts.
Living in some sort of underground lair, the trio work and craft with cardboard boxes and tape, this insane underground lair that becomes increasingly claustrophobic as it grows larger. The devil of Mariano begins his relentless grooming of Skeletor, urging and pushing him to indulge in his sick pleasures. You need blood, he tells him. You're weak. Let me help you out. Unfortunately, this is not a kind film. Poisoned and fed raw meat, Skeletor is forced to make a game-time decision, and I'm gonna leave it at that. This film is about to unfurl a disgusting cacophony of terror and brutality that isn't usually found in most standard-ass horror. We Are the Flesh is going to make you pay. Homeless apes, indebted servitude, and one hell of an insomniatic mindfuck. You feel fucked up watching this. There's a dirt and intoxication to the way the camera careens and spins out of control as Mariano sinks deeper into the void. Prepare yourself. God bless Arrow Video for taking the chance to put out this brutal apocalyptic fever dream. This is some disgusting piece of erotica right here. It's not a safe film. It pushes the boundaries of good taste, and this Blu-ray looks it's, I dare say, beautiful. About 30 minutes in, though, is where things begin to get super weird and damned uncomfortable. The camera zooms in on Skeletor's sister, and we are forced to occupy a ringside seat to all things unnatural. And it takes forever. Let's just go ahead and call the hardcore scenes in this film unrated, because if they're not, they definitely should be. It's fucked up. It's utilizing these camera effects that look like there's something out of The Predator. Not the remake, but the original Predator, where there's this heat-seeking something else, man. Something else is going on with the camera effects that make you super woozy, super uncomfortable, and you're forced to just pay attention. I'll admit that the first time I watched this film, I was under the impression that checking this, it's going to be okay. This is going to be a fucked up movie, but I don't remember how fucked up it was in my head. I knew that it had been sitting by my nightstand since I ordered it from Arrow like 3 months ago, and it was much worse than I remember on the rewatch. Much, much, much worse 8 years later. Even for me, some of these scenes are absolutely vile. Some of these scenes in this movie are just vile. Like I said, even for me. And I remember it had been sitting there, and I remember the nervousness now that I had when I first watched it. It's probably why I didn't just throw it on immediately, because there's like this nervous tension and this nervous anxiety to it. It's pretty much NC-17 for a lot of this film, but the things that are happening, they're gonna remind you of SALO. They are just, it's a hard watch. Hard watch. This is more likely a SALO split pea soup with extra ham hocks, if you will. Voted most likely to ruin your holiday spread. Filthy. Absolutely filthy. There is a metallic blood scene that is hard to watch. There's twists and turns of these cavernous colors, and the home that they once papered with the cardboard starts to resemble something like out of Dante's Inferno. The camera settles on everybody's genitals in this really weird way, and it just lingers there forever. The nymphomania meets the necrophile. You wanted it weird? You fucking got it, buddy. This is a weird fucking movie. There's a scene with the blood sacrifice over a bucket that's a spirited war cry of intensity. But the blood is the life, and the life makes the rules in this fucking hell. Meat, it's meat, and a man has gotta eat. And this is nothing to be. This isn't some sort of incestual cannibalism. It just rounds out this feature family flick from Emiliano Rocha Minter. So, after all of that, I am a fan of this film. I am a big fan of this film. I really, really like it. I'm not going to be showing this to a lot of people, but the kind of people that like the films that I like are going to love this film. This is one hell of a feature debut, and for fans out there, the Criterion people that love SALO, you're welcome. This is going to be your next watch. You're probably going to really have an interesting time with this film, but it's full of substance and style, and it's got integrity. It's got, saying all that bad stuff about it, right? I tried to say a little bit of it. There's a lot more that happens in this film, but the first 15 minutes are this hallucinogenic fever dream with Mariano, where he just completely takes over this film. You're introduced to him, and he's just kind of climbing the walls. He's making this moldy bread, this alcoholic tincture, and he's pounding stuff together. He's got glass out. He's got these little tinctures. He's spread eagle. He is just losing his mind, and we were just taken hostage into his madness, beating this fucking drum while the music swells. There's this heavy breathing. It's anxiety inducing, and I love it. I'm not going to say I have a great time because it's heavy. This should probably be put out by Unearthed, but shout out to Arrow, man. They did a killer bang up job on this. It's got tons of special features. It's a 5.1 uncompressed audio. It's got, reversible cover art. They chose a really interesting cover photo to put on there, I'll tell you right now. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this film. I think, if you're one of those Criterion SALO people, you're going to love this film. I just can't really describe it here, but if you've seen it, if you're one of those folks that kind of like extreme flicks, there's not a ton of gore. There is some, but it's just your darkest pleasures and fantasies. It's Marquis de Sade. It's SALO. It's just a different take on it, and it's very, very graphic. I will say that. It doesn't have the scene from SALO. I'll spoiler. So yeah, this is We Are the Flesh, and this does come with my official trigger and trauma warning for most people. This is going to offend and upset pretty much everybody, myself included. But this is Arrow Video. This isn't like it's a small label, right? A lot of people might already own this film. They might already be fans of this film. If they're watching my channel, they might already be aware of this film. So like I said, I'm surprised Unearthed didn't put this thing out. Now, this is a foreign title. This is, a Spanish subtitled film. I watch a lot of foreign films, so I'm used to reading. That doesn't bother me. If you don't like foreign flicks, you really got to get over that, because maybe not this one, but there is a ton of amazing, especially the J-horror, the Korean horror. There's a lot of really, really good Spanish horror. Trauma was like a 10 out of 10 Spanish horror film. We Are the Flesh came out like a year before Trauma. They are similar in some of their content matter. I just pointed at this for like a long time, think that I should warn you not to watch this film. So if you want to see more from me, please like, comment, subscribe, talk some shit down there, follow me on social media. Thanks so much for watching. We've got lots more cool stuff. It is the holiday season, right? So I don't know if I'm going to get into some Christmas horror films or not. If you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of holiday horror films, Terrifier 3 included. If Terrifier 3 came out in the theater and that's when I went to watch it, it would have been so much more effective in December than it was in October. That's not, to me, shitting on Terrifier 3, because I'm a fan of that film. I did like it. It's just not my favorite in the franchise. I don't really like gimmicks in my horror movies, and I love tons of schlock, man. I love campy shit. But just the holidays and all that stuff, there's only 4 or 5 movies that I really, really like. Now, there is some new ones that maybe we'll get into. If you want to see me cover some of those, let me know in the comments. Take care of yourselves. Cheers.